I guess this thing's on? Huh? Huh? Bitch.
Hey, I just met you. This is crazy, but here's my number. Call me maybe. Let's look at those 4 phrases separately and see how God is revealing to us the name of the Antichrist.
You are now entering a world inside the essence of your imagination. Look within your dreams. They can take you beyond the mind's eye.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere.
I know all about cannibalism. I saw it on TV.
See? It's okay. I saw it on the television.
Various VR gloves. Sensors keep track of your real movements, then command the computer to duplicate them inside the virtual world.
His oneness with nature is an experience rather than an expression. It's a good feeling. I mean, you don't feel like you're isolated or anything like that, you know.
I've been an admirer of Aleister Crowley. I think that I'm carrying on much of the work. I'm sorry he isn't around now to appreciate the glories that he started.
Barkeep, I would like another drink, okay? But at this time, at this point in place, right, I'd like something with some class, okay? So give me a classy drink.
White man's burden, Lloyd, my man. White man's burden.
The owls are not what they seem.
Why would anybody watch a scum show like Videodrome?
Oh. I hit the wrong button. I didn't mean to come in so hot. Fucked it up. You fucked it up. It's okay. It's all right. We'll manage. As we usually do. Pull up our pants and just flush the toilet. Keep on going on. Are those sayings? I don't think so. Here we are. The new way of streaming for After Dark, which is hang out on YouTube as long as we can until they kick us off. And then we're just Rumble exclusive. They're making it harder and harder to do streams on YouTube. I tried to set up a couple of other accounts. Got them all set up. I'm like, let's just do some test streaming just to see, what I can play, what I can't play. Now you need to request to be able to live stream. And I don't know what I have to provide to them. I would assume I'm assuming it'd be something like a telephone number or something like that. I don't know. But luckily, back in 2019, 2020-ish, I created a bunch of alt accounts. But I'm streaming on one right now, which used to be called Tooling for Anus. It is now called, what do we call this one now? Oh, Jimmy After Dark. So I'll be hanging out there as long as I can. No promises, though. But hey, we got it through the intro, unlike last week when I think we were just getting to the After Dark title and boom, gone. Just gone. I went over to D-Live that night and hung out with two people. Ola and Ant. So, worst comes to worst, you can always go to D-Live as well. I have heard of people getting banned off Rumble. It does happen. But I gotta get my feelers out on this platform and figure out what's do's and what's don'ts, In time. I already spent some time looking for some channels to follow on here. Found a few. It took me forever to try and remember all the other channels I was subscribed to on YouTube. But I think I got a good amount of them. Enough. First one I got, well, of course, was Mr. E. Can't leave him behind. You gotta take him. Jimmy is the Bigfoot of streamers. I like that. All right, I gotta get used to this chat here. So please ignore the extra technical difficulties that I'll be having tonight. Okay. All right, we happy? You happy? I'm happy. Happy enough. What happened? Did you figure it out? You've got to post your link so people can find you. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Posting links. Well, actually, I didn't do that in the YouTube channel. Surprisingly, I have 5 likes over there, so I guess people have already been subscribed to that channel on the Tooling for Anus channel, which is now Jimmy After Dark. I'll put the Rumble in there real quick. That would make sense, wouldn't it? That would make sense. So yeah, we'll hang out here on YouTube for like, I don't know, not too long. An hour tops. So that means we've already been streaming for 15 minutes, so about 45 minutes, if that. Something like that. I am thankful to have a core group, though. If I wasn't in touch with many of you, and if I was to just try to stream on Rumble randomly, get your words together, asshole. I probably would just throw it in the towel and be like, fuck it. So I'm thankful for y'all. For real, for real. Hopefully Modest Grower finds his way over here. Things will take time. Things will take time to become normal. I'm a patient man. I am. So patient. I even I set up my my computer parts for my new build behind me. Well, I just have them over there just so I can see it every day and remind myself. Get it done. I just bought a new piece last week. It'll be here Tuesday or Wednesday. That means just 2. Count them. 1, 2. 2 more pieces. And then we're ready to build. I'm looking forward to it. The end of July, the very latest. But the very soonest. I'd say in a matter of 2 weeks. Unless something drastic happens. Which, you know, that's life. That's life. All right. So we're just acting like it's a regular old show, right? Getting back on that horse. What's been happening in the world? One of the first channels I found over on Rumble was called Free Your Mind Videos. So let's give that a little whirl here. And after this, I think I got a little Mr. E as well. Don't worry, he's not doing any transvestigation, so don't worry. But there is transvestigation in the mix tonight. But it's not from him, surprisingly. Free Your Mind Videos. So Texas has been drowning. So obviously the schizos are going to talk about it. And we're here for it. Most definitely are here for it. We want to hear them out. I think you'd be crazy not to. Yeah, we'll start with this one. All right. I don't know who this bitch is. Gaba Homestead, I guess. Maybe that's her name on TikTok. I don't know. Weather weapons and we are the new enemy. Governments are attacking their own people. This is obviously in regards to the recent flooding.
So you're telling me you still think the weather is just weather? That earthquakes, random fires, and flash floods are just random acts of nature? That blue rain in Texas before the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in 45 minutes is normal? Now let me tell you a story about what just happened at Lake Tahoe. A mom was recording a normal day, the sun's out, the lake is calm, kids are playing, and then the lake starts buzzing. Not from boats, not from wind, a low mechanical hum vibrating through the water. The next day, total chaos. Power outages, communication blackouts, people felt disoriented, everything changed fast. Yet, no headlines, no news alerts, just one mom with a phone who caught something that we were never meant to see. Let that sink in. Did you know in 1997 that the United States Secretary of Defense openly admitted that some nations were working on technology to trigger natural disasters? Earthquakes, volcanoes, storms.
You know, can I firstly just say, I love the hair. Love it. I didn't have enough time to dig up some old harp videos that I had. I was gonna, but they're not where I thought they'd be when I was looking through some hard drives. But when we move on over to Rumble for the night, I will take a minute and take another gander for them because it's fitting for the times.
On command. And this was
Oh, what's up, Aunt?
30 years ago. Now imagine what they're capable of today. Now, I'm not saying what happened at Lake Tahoe is connected, but when a lake starts to hum or blue rain is...
Yeah, that's one of the things that... I mean, I only saw one video of this blue rain thing, which it is on this channel, or maybe on the next video, so we'll check it out. But That's the first time hearing of this blue rain. Anyone hear of it before? Before this even happened?
Connected, but when a lake starts to hum or blue rain is falling from the sky, ask yourself, is this nature or is someone playing God? Just something to think about.
Dun, 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 as you sip your glass of milk. All right, let me see if I can find that blue rain video here. I'm pretty sure it's on this Free Your Mind videos. Pretty sure. Q says he thinks he's heard of chocolate rain. Yes, I've heard of that too. Chocolate rain. Blue rain sounds like a shitty Mountain Dew flavor. It does. We should get in on that. All right, hang tight, hang tight. I'm looking. There it is. Just a 25-second video. And then after this, I got another video called, it's a compilation video of TikTok videos that were banned because they were talking bad about the Texas flooding or whatever, or they were spreading disinformation, whatever. I don't know. We'll look at it. But before that, let's check out this blue rain video.
Hey, we're camping in this beautiful state park in Texas, and it's been raining, and the water that's coming out of the sky is blue. And it's not this tarp, because it's happening on this tarp too.
Well, if it's happening on that tarp, can we see more? I mean, it's very easy to just get some blue dye and fill up your puddles on your other tarp. I need more, man.
Look at that. This is crazy.
What if it's just windshield wash fluid? Right? Wouldn't that be cool? Free windshield washer fluid? Hey, I'd take it. I'd fill up a whole bunch of jugs of it.
They chemtrailing us in Texas?
That was weird. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat. Hold on a minute. Sorry, I'm so scarred from last week that I'm like when I first noticed that I was completely banned off of YouTube, I noticed that through the chat first, it said chat disconnected. Chat was doing a little funky thing, but it's all right. I guess. Just calm down. Go about your day. Do you have a new home? You've already settled in, right? Right. Okay. Disconnect YouTube and go full lip. Not yet. Don't worry. I have two 16-ounce 8% beers for my first night at Rumble, so full lip will engage soon enough. See me doing the happy merchant hand rubbing. In time. What's that movie? Tell me. You'll get a kiss. All right, let's go back to this. Go back to the schizo stuff. Texas flood. All right, TikTok floods. The video they banned on TikTok. It's coming.
My name's Steve Jarvis. Do y'all want answers for what happened in Texas? I have the answers.
Yes, he does. And I have stuff that can help. This video is for entertainment purposes only. And why do
Gotta protect your ass.
I have to say this ridiculous thing about such a serious matter? Because I did so much research, and we know what happened when I had almost 300,000 followers. This topic.
I feel your pain. Although it wasn't that many. It was just a little 3,000. Almost 3,000. Did you read that Mr. Blonde died, Jay? Michael Madsen? Yes. Rest in peace. I actually was going to find some movies to watch of his, but I didn't want to just watch Reservoir Dogs. I was trying to find something else I just haven't seen. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I'm hoping I can find a good Michael clip from a movie I could add to my collection here.
That people think doesn't happen. It's so big. It's an investment. Fortune Business Insights did an enormous analysis of how lucrative it is to invest in weather modification. This is the graph. From now to 2032, this is where they expect weather modification to go to. It has been around for so long that in 1975, the US was looking at what the Soviets were doing in weather modification.
This one's from 1953.
How to militarize the weather. But no, nothing's been done, except it has. And it's broken my heart and continues to break my heart every time I see this happen, because there's a pattern. For example, let's look at Roswell. Dubai. Massive in weather mod. And you know where Dubai does all their testing? It's not in the UAE, because they don't have enough weather to test. It's Texas. Yeah, the UAE funds weather mod in Texas.
And things have
Ain't that some shit?
Progressed a little in 70 years. It's now all about nanotechnology.
But Texas is huge. There are multiple companies that operate doing this, that we know about, that publicly do this. In 2021, the UAE had a scientific study done. They want to be the world leaders in weather mod, which is tying for China, by the way, who 60 years ago did weather mod, and that article came out in 2018, and their goal was to have 5.5 million square kilometers weather modded by 2025. And Valencia, it's more hush-hush over there. But guess what's happening in Spain? This is one of the many problems of this topic. As Steve says when you watch his video, he's a farmer. He's in drought because of weather modding. Well,
I hope they play the Steve video. Oh, wait, you can scroll. Looks like not. Now I want to find this Steve video.
He's in drought because of weather modding. Well, in Mexico, farmers sued Volkswagen because they were using hail cannons so that the cars wouldn't get damaged. Well, what happens when the weather mod happens is you're bringing the rain down. Well, someone down the road doesn't get the rain, like what's happening with Steve. The farmers are suffering from this. They do it in California. I found the document for 2015 in Los Angeles to do this. Oh, I'm sorry I lost my train of thought. There's just so much research, years of research batting around in my head. So the UAE, they did this study in 2021, and if you go to the bottom, it warns in 2021 of urban flash floods.
The official report is that cloud seeding did not cause the Dubai floods, which is technically not a lie, since Dubai now has far more advanced techniques using drones to shock clouds and nanotechnology. By the way, the UK has an extremely heavy hand in this.
But hey, if you're over there in the UK, hello, fellow Brits, shh, they're not doing anything. I have no big agenda. I just really enjoy looking at graphical interfaces. I start to see things in radar and satellite images that don't seem typical.
Like this marvelous image of a square cloud near Bouvet Island.
Somebody just yesterday sent me this, and I thought, wow, I've never seen one like that, with the lines and the dots.
So,
you know, I wouldn't even know how to tell any of this shit, like if it's abnormal or not.
So, Stephenville and West, let me know how your weather is.
And then I go looking at the clouds and the radar, and I am very aware that drones are the next wave of weather mod. I've literally caught a drone in the sky.
Oh, yeah. Drones. Makes sense.
In LA, looking like a cloud, and I also caught drones in Hendersonville right after Hurricane Helene last year. I'm just an observer. I would expect, looking at radar, that organic rain is going to be very random looking. We go to here in this storm and we have this barcode looking situation. Now I looked up, what I found is this barcode looking situation can be inorganic things, that the radar registers different materials.
I did see some flight patterns that caught my eye because they were 2 days prior, and there seemed to be the same type of plane, but in multiple locations. I actually counted about 6 planes. I'll put them all up at the end of the video.
It could be a flight school where everyone takes off from a triangulated location. I don't know. Sounds a bit of a stretch, but I'm putting it out there for people to investigate. I'm so sorry for everyone in Texas. It's horrific. I'm so sorry for the people in Valencia and Roswell and China and Dubai. It's a pattern, and I'm sure we'll see it again. I'll see you in the comments.
Huh. You know, TikTok seems like it's got a lot of decent follows on there. I'm almost tempted. Almost.
Okay.
Intriguing. Somebody's got to do the work, right? It ain't going to be me, that's for sure. All right, did I have anything else? This is just some footage of it. Pull it up. I'm sure there's a lot more than what I'm about to show, but this is the first one that I saw, and I just bookmarked it.
Get over here, too. Okay, let's go back. Juanita. Wow. Juanita, move back.
Anyone know what the death toll is up to now? I stumbled on a Rosie O'Donnell video. She's always fun to watch these days. Just blaming Trump for the Texas tragedy.
Yeah. Hunter.
Because he cut wasteful spending. We'll hear him out. We'll hear her out.
And what a horror story in Texas. The flash floods in Texas, the Guadalupe River, 51 missing, 51 dead, more missing. Children at a camp. And you know, when the president guts all of the early warning systems and the weathering forecast abilities of the government, these are the results that we're going to start to see on a daily basis because he's put this country in so much danger.
Yep. It's all your fault, Donald Trump.
By his horrible horrible decisions and this ridiculously immoral bill that he just signed into law. As Republicans cheered, people will die as a result, and they've started already. Shame on him. Shame on every GOP sycophant who's listening and following the disastrous decisions of this mentally incapacitated
Shame.
POTUS.
Shame.
Hard
Shame.
to believe.
Shame. TikToker blasts people who are donating and helping find the missing girls in Texas. Her reason is because these girls are white and they're deporting your family members. One of the sickest things I've ever seen. Oh boy. Well, that doesn't sound good. Breaking. Houston's mayor office says this woman is being permanently removed from Houston's Food Insecurity Board immediately. So this is the bitch. TikToker blasts people who are donating and helping people find the missing girls.
There's people in it. Oh my god, there's so many people in it.
I know I'm probably gonna get canceled for this, but
Oh yeah, you are. Oh yeah.
Camp Mystic is a whites-only girls Christian camp. They don't even have a token Asian. They don't have a token black person. It is a all white, white-only, conservative Christian camp. If you ain't white.
Oh shit. Laronte. Glad to see you made it over. I'm assuming you came from the Jimmy After Dark channel. Sweet, it's working. It's working.
You ain't right, you ain't getting in, you ain't going. Period.
Nope.
And I think that context needs to be said in this matter. It's not to say that we don't want the girls to be found, whatever girls that are missing or whatever right now, but you best believe, especially in today's political climate, if this were a group of Hispanic girls, especially with them being in East Texas, it should be most likely Hispanic. If this were a group of Hispanic girls out there, this would not be getting this type of coverage that they're getting.
Shut up. Will you shut up? Please. Please.
No one would give a fuck. And all these white people, the parents of these little girls, would be saying things like they need to be deported, they shouldn't have been here in the first place, and yada, yada, yada. So before y'all come at me, before y'all start leaving hate comments on my page about, oh, these are just kids and they don't know no better, da, 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 da. The parents of these children who are choosing, and it is a choice in 2025, it is definitely a freaking choice to go into East goddamn Texas and to make a all-white enclave, exclusionary just for white people, with all the black people in East Texas, with all the Hispanic people in East Texas. Somehow, some way, you have carved out an all-white, whites-only enclave.
Sounds like a great place to me.
In East Texas for your white children. Yeah, I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Once again, this is no shade to the girls. I hope they all get found. But once again,
well, they didn't.
Y'all have to understand the climate that we're living in. They want you to have sympathy for these people. They want you to get out of your bed and to come out of your home and to go find these people and to donate your money to go find these people. Meanwhile, they are deporting your family members. Meanwhile,
should deport your black.
While they're setting up concentration camps and prisons for your family members. And I need y'all to keep that in mind before y'all get out there and put on your rain boots and go find these little girls.
Truly is disgusting. I'm glad she got removed from, what is it, the Houston's Food Insecurity Board immediately. Actually, did you guys even get a good look at this bitch? Sade Perkins. Sade Perkins. The only Sade I like is the singer. It's on her forehead. What is that? Trying to drill a hole in your third eye or something? Fuck her. Good riddance. That's what I say. All right. Keep on cruising. Keep on cruising. That's all we got for the Texas flood stuff. Okay. So Candace Owens has, well, something came across my desk with Candace Owens, and I thought it was rather interesting. I'm surprised it didn't come to my attention sooner. But she received a phone call from Donald Trump back in February in regards to her series that she's been doing that I think is wrapped up at this point. I haven't watched any of it, but it sounds interesting after I've learned about it. It's called Becoming Bridget. Marcon, whatever. The the wife of the I don't even know what his name is. God damn it, the French guy, the French president. Jesus. But yeah, there's she has this series that is investigating the Bridget being actually born a male. I see just 2 episodes of it, but I think there's more. But here's a video from last week, I think, of her talking about the phone call. I mean, this is transvestigation on the mainstream, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you cunt.
Anyways, I sleep on that. Anger is subsiding. Wake up the next morning. It's February 26th, and I am sitting in the makeup chair, and I get another message that's like, hey, keep your phone on. And I'm going, I really don't want to speak to this advisor anymore. I really don't. Where our personalities are not meshing. And anyways, this phone call is coming from Florida. I pick up the phone, and lo and behold, so here's what happened. I'm negotiating this thing. I'm negotiating Ukraine and Russia, and you wouldn't believe how many parts are part. It is President Donald J. Trump. He is calling me, and in true President Trump fashion, he jumps right into the narrative. We're not, hey, how you doing? He just jumps right into the narrative of exactly how this went down. I am literally, it is hard to catch my breath to comprehend that 4 days ago, I'm ending a series about Brigitte Macron, and now I'm speaking to the President of the United States, and the topic of conversation, no matter which way you want to slice it, it's about Macron's wife's penis. I mean, there's no other way to say it, right? And so he just jumps right into the narrative. He's like, I'm negotiating. You wouldn't believe how many pieces this person wants this person, if this person wants this, and you have no idea how much is involved when you're trying to get one of these deals done, Anyways, I have Macron. I like Macron. We're speaking at the White House, and I'm walking him to his car. And, he says to me, Mr. President, can I speak to you for a second? I say, of course you can speak to me about anything. What's going on? And he tells me that there's Secret Service all around them. There's SUVs. They're encircled. And Macron wants to have a little sidebar. And then Macron says to him, Mr. President, do you know Candace Owens? And I say, Yes, of course I know Candace Owens. What's going on? And then the president says to me, you must be a very powerful person, Candace. We're talking about the president of France taking me aside to talk about your podcast.
And that is pretty crazy. Hey, could you shut this podcaster up talking about my wife being a man? It's not a good look.
He continues his narrative and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And I'm listening. And he's, in one of Trump monologues, he's very funny. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close and she looks like a woman to me. Just like a woman to me. I had dinner with her at the top of the Eiffel Tower. And
well, I mean, as you can see, Mr. Trump, President Trump, she has a turtleneck on, It's usually one of the first signs you should be checking for that Adam's apple. Just saying. Just saying.
And I explained to him that she has had this amazing doctor who specializes in transgenderism surgeries or feminization procedures. I'm talking to the President of the United States about this, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Triple Crown says, I'm surprised she'd tell this story. Wouldn't she want to end with Trump? This will bot him. Well, yeah, she waited. This was back in February, so she had to wait for a certain amount of time.
This is crazy. This is whack.
But yeah, I mean, she didn't really lay off either. She still kept doing it. So.
But I'm just giving it as good as I get. I'm just trying to get him to understand the truth. And then I explained to him why I don't feel so great about this request, because that's the more important part. Like, you are requesting that I really, and despite your reasoning, which is very sound, that I stop telling the truth. And I said to Trump, and I will be honest, that at that moment I realized that one day this is going to go into my autobiography. And so I got to say something funny. And I said to him, respectfully, Mr. President, it's not my fault that he married someone with a penis. He then tells me, we're really close to getting this thing done. We're really close to getting this thing done. He tells me again, Macron's been really good to me. He's been very easy to work with us. He's been a good person. He just wants me to get this one thing done. And then he throws in the art of the deal type stuff. He starts complimenting me. He said, Melania loves you. She says, you're so beautiful.
It's a long-ass clip. I think it's like, 6 minutes? Yep.
Beautiful. She thinks you're so beautiful. I said, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President.
If Candace had any balls, she'd go after Melania Trump next. I don't know why she doesn't. All the other investigators think that she's one.
Compliments will get you everywhere in life is my mentality here. And then I say to him what I've agreed to already in the back of my head. I say, look, I'm happy to do this for the short term. Obviously, I don't want to have on my conscience that less Christian men could have died in the East if I just shut up about something. But I'm very clear to him that this is going to be short term, and that I fully expect that in a few months I will be able to speak about this. And this is the point in the conversation where it actually gets quite interesting, because he says yes, and I am now adding to you what I sensed. Like, he was about to commit to that, but then it felt to me like someone in the background was like, no, we need this conversation to stop altogether.
I would assume, yeah, that's exactly what was going on.
And then he doesn't say no or yes, but he just says, that he really needs to work with Macron long term, and they have this long working relationship. And I was very clear, like, this is not long term for me. Like, if you're close to this deal, ink it, let's get it done. And then he sort of offers at the end, he says, hey, maybe I can come on your podcast one day. I'm great for ratings. They're so Trumpian to give yourself a compliment. So I give him the Trump right back. And I say respectfully, Mr. President, I'm apparently good for ratings too, because you've got
I bet you he likes it when people throw it back at him like that.
A leader of a country, the president of the country, asking you to ask me to do a favor. So then we
got a point though
in the conversation, and I am just reeling. I can't believe it's even happened. I then go and I immediately tell my husband, and I write down the details of the conversation so that I wouldn't forget the conversation that we were having. And of course, the first thing that I want to say principally is that Emmanuel Macron must step down. Okay? Because if that is true, and I will say that did not come from Trump. He did not say specifically he's holding up negotiations for this, but he did say specifically that they were talking about the Ukraine and Russia war all day, and he's just trying to make it all happen. And that is when Macron took him to the side. So I kind of trust the information who came from that third party person, that what he was being told was that he was holding this up, right? Like, Macron's holding this up.
Holding it up because America thinks his wife's a dude.
Contingency here on whether or not he's going to agree to this sort of international deal is whether or not Candace Owens stops speaking about his wife. Yet you got to step down.
Interesting. I'm looking at my mic levels, Triple, and now I'm getting annoyed of it. I didn't even notice that I'm not even touching the yellow until you said it. Hold on, let me just try something. Hold on. I gotta make noises. Noises. Still nothing. What the fuck? Alright, whatever. It's good enough though, right? If I just maybe pull the mic closer to my goddamn mouth. I don't have to talk so loud. It's good enough. It's fine. We're fine. I just didn't want this show to be a test run show. I wanted it to actually be a show. not have to worry about things next week. And we're doing all right, aside of the audio thing. Not bad. But this is going to be the format, if you will, for After Dark. We're gonna keep starting on YouTube, as well as right on Rumble at the same time. And after about an hour or so, we'll cut the cord over on YouTube and hang out on Rumble for the rest of the evening. We used to do that when we were on DLive, so we're bringing it back, but this time on Rumble. You know, and if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I mean, you could always do that just because. Hang out until it gets burnt to the ground, right? I'm going to try to upload the entire Rumble stream on the YouTube and premiere it, just to see kind of what happens, I guess. If I don't, you know, if I'm not too bad of a boy that night. I guess it depends how many drinks I've had. How frisky I'm feeling. But we've been on for just about an hour, but I'm gonna play this one or this one. One or two more videos. We'll go with Mr. E. Little Mr. E, the most professional transvestigator I've ever come across. But this video has nothing to do with that. It is titled Have You Been Trauma-Based Mind Controlled?
So did the U.S.
And he even shows his face again. He never does this. Let's hear him out. I mean, I already know my answer to this question. Yes. Yes, I have. And if you don't think so, you may need to rethink it.
So did the U.S. government perform a psychological experiment or trauma-based mind control event on children at school, in the classroom? Where were you on January 28th, 1986? You were probably at school, like I was. And what happened that day? That's when the Space Shuttle Challenger allegedly exploded on live TV. I was talking to somebody the other day about this.
I wasn't born yet. I'm an 88 baby, so I missed this one. Triple Crown says, I'm pretty sure you're AI. Very possible. Very possible. The thought, not too long ago when I was opening a package with my box cutter, split second, I was like, what would happen if I tried to gut myself? Would I just find a whole bunch of cords in there? You think? I don't know. I guess I won't find out. I don't know. Maybe if I was on acid, I'd try it. Not.
She said that she was in class watching this live on TV. And then it occurred to me.
Oh, Tio, I'll back this up for a sec, too. Scott, over on YouTube. You know, Scott, I didn't think you'd make it over here. I'm very glad you did, my friend. Now, Scott, as you know, I can disappear real quick over here on YouTube. Okay? So, I would highly recommend, Scott, you make an account over in Rumble. Because there, they're not going to boot me. And I like your presence, Scott. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. I like you. And maybe you missed it, but we're going to be cutting the cord on YouTube momentarily. I think after this video, and then we're going to be Rumble exclusive for the night. So you should definitely make an account and follow me over there so you can hang out for the rest of the night. All right, pal? I'm glad you made it over here. For real. For real, for real. No cap. No cap.
She was in class watching this live on TV. And then it occurred to me, well, that's kind of strange. How often do you watch live TV in a classroom? And by that time, The space shuttle was kind of old news. This was like the 25th space shuttle launch. But there was one difference, is that there was a school teacher on board. That's what made it interesting. And
you know what's so fun about this conspiracy theory, which he may touch on, I don't know though, but I guess every one of these astronauts had twins, I guess, or maybe a couple of them had twins, but I think one of these two ladies was a Syracuse University professor. And you know, if I can find a quick rundown on that, and if he doesn't talk about it, I'll pull it up. But yeah, apparently these people are not dead, and they all have jobs in other fields. It's one of the talking points when it comes to space being fake and gay, I guess.
Especially for school children and teachers and for everyone in the education industrial complex, all eyes were on the space shuttle. This was a big deal. The first teacher, an ordinary civilian, otherwise known as peasant or useless eater, useless eaters in space. That in and of itself became a massive propaganda moment for NASA. What are the odds that students are watching this live in the classroom, and then there's this huge explosion? Became one of the most iconic live breaking news events in television history. It was a defining moment because there was no real precedent for how the media covered a catastrophic live event. Now, even the JFK alleged assassination was not broadcast live on TV. That footage was only shown like 10 years later. At the time, 24-hour cable news hadn't taken off yet, including CNN. Most people had never heard of CNN yet, but after this, they knew about CNN. This created CNN, in fact. One of the first major tragedies to play out live on television, meaning people didn't just hear people talking about it, they actually saw it, whatever it was. This is 1986, all right? People still listen to Madonna. Metallica was still making good albums, and Michael Jackson was still black. It was really one of the first times that science and engineering have to be explicitly explained to the public and to the media. Well, they did that again in 9/11. They explained the science to us. Us peasants, we're just dumb peasants after all. And then in 2020, they explained the science to us. Don't ever try to question the science, you ignorant.
Never question the science.
Useless eater. It was the classroom lesson no one had anticipated. Well, I would say somebody anticipated this. Somebody planned it. Somebody engineered it. Trauma-based mind control events don't just happen on their own. They are planned, orchestrated, and executed. And this was written just about a week after the actual event. You think I'm making stuff up? Do you think I'm jumping the shark? No. Look at TV brought the trauma to classroom millions. TV brought the trauma to the children in the classroom. CNN was the only TV station to broadcast this live, and most people didn't even have CNN, and the schools didn't have CNN. So how did they even get the live feed into the schools in 1986? Some of you weren't even born at that time yet. You have no idea what it was like. Duran Duran was still popular. That's a trauma-based mind control right there.
We may have to start the second half of the stream on Rumble with some Duran Duran.
Across the country, students and teachers who had gathered to share the excitement of the launch. So they're all excited. They're making history. There's a regular teacher going into space, allegedly. Instead, experienced the immediacy of death, brought home with horrifying impact by television. All right, trauma. They were traumatized. I'm just reading what it says. It says right here that the school children were traumatized at school. To promote the Teacher in Space program, NASA had arranged for many students in the U.S. to view the launch live at school with their teachers. All right, NASA arranged it with these satellite dishes, and apparently this footage from CNN was the only broadcast known for many years. 2,000 elementary schools and high schools across the country had sent in letters confirming that they would be viewing the launch and the lessons by satellite. Some 2.5 million students nationwide were viewing Challenger's takeoff. How? Did they just turn on the TV? No. NASA hooked up satellite dishes to the schools. To how many schools? To 2,000 schools. And at an average of slightly over 1,000 students per school, you get about 2.5 million students nationwide. So my question to you is, were you one of these students participating in this experiment? Did NASA hook your school up to a satellite feed? Countless millions more school children were sitting in classrooms listening to radios or watching continuous replays of the event on public and commercial stations. The continuous replays. We've seen this in 2001. We've seen this in 2020. When the accident occurred, there was just stunned silence. It was shock, utter disbelief. In school after school across the country, teachers, students, and administrators described long minutes of silence followed by crying, despair, anger, and questions for which there were no satisfactory answers. Just think if this was intentionally created to traumatize people. Who would do something that evil? I think you know the answer. It's a shared event, a shared traumatizing event. Although technology brought the day's tragedy into the homes of citizens nationwide, it was particularly painful for the education community. Some of the students just put their heads down on the desk and watched in disbelief. I would say that we will definitely be watching our students very closely, at least in the next few days. Yeah, you got to observe the experiments. And here's an article from the New York Times. The shuttle explosion at Mission Control, silence and grief fill a day of horror long dreaded. It was the 25th shuttle flight, the first of 16 planned for 1986, and the news agencies were backing off expensive remote coverage of what increasingly appeared to be a routine event. So then why was it broadcast live in all these schools? Why did NASA hook up satellite dishes to 2,000 schools so that over 2.5 million school children could watch it live? And just by coincidence, it happens to become a traumatizing event. What are the odds of that? And I don't know how much it costs to install these satellite dishes. Even if it's only $1,000, that's 2,000 schools. That's like over $2 million, but it's probably more than that. So millions of dollars were spent, taxpayer dollars spent to perform a trauma-based mind control experiment on school children at school. So this kind of indicates that school is an indoctrination center and a mind control center, and also they perform experiments on the school children. So what is trauma-based mind control? It refers to techniques used to manipulate individuals through severe psychological trauma, often seen in contexts like cults or abusive environments. This form of control can lead to dissociative symptoms and complex psychological issues in survivors. They hooked up all these schools, thousands of schools, with satellite dishes to watch a live traumatizing event that may have been planned in advance using special effects. Trauma-based mind control is a complex and disturbing phenomenon that involves the manipulation of an individual's psyche through traumatic experiences. Oh, look at this. Education Week says TV brought the trauma to classroom millions. It's the same thing. It's the same.
Still does in other ways.
Exact sentence. TV brought the trauma to the minds of children in the classroom. They had no escape. They couldn't leave. It seems like this was aimed specifically at children. Probably more school children watched this event than adults. And that's why they had the teacher on board. Well played. Like, who thought of this? Here's how you do it, by the way. Method: isolation. Description: victims are separated from their support networks. Social distancing, working from home, lockdowns, and don't forget the contact tracing, making them more dependent on their abuser or controller. But if you inject the experimental technology into your body, maybe you can talk to another human being face to face someday. Induced trauma. Victims are subjected to repeated stressors or trauma to maximize susceptibility. Remember when like a 95-year-old woman died in Sydney and then they locked down the entire city because a 95-year-old person died of old age? Now that's on the people as well. Remember the Garden of Eden? Satan, Adam, and Eve were all guilty and they were all punished. Mind control techniques, methods such as hypnosis or conditioning, are used to reinforce the new behaviors or beliefs. Now, luckily, most of us are not susceptible to mind control techniques. Understanding trauma-based mind control is crucial for identifying and addressing the psychological scars it leaves on individuals. It highlights the importance of compassionate response and therapeutic interventions to aid recovery from such profound psychological manipulation. And here are some studies done from the Journal of Communication, How Children Reacted to Televised Coverage of the Space Shuttle Disaster. They actually studied the effects of this trauma-based mind control event. So again, I'm just really reading what it says here in Education Week, where it says TV brought the trauma. Millions of students in the classrooms. And just by coincidence, trauma-based mind control is used to manipulate individuals through severe psychological trauma. Were you exposed to this trauma-based mind control event on January 28th, 1986? Were you in a classroom? And if so, why were you watching live TV in a classroom when you're supposed to be studying? So to me, this seems...
It's interesting, brings that up. Instead of studying, they're watching that. They did the same thing when the Twin Towers went down, too. Like, all classes stopped what they were doing, and they watched the news. I was in study hall though, so it didn't really matter for me.
It was like a classic case of trauma-based mind control with some special effects, deliberately targeting children, sponsored by the government, paid for by U.S. tax dollars. All right, I hope everybody has a happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Make America great again.
Mr. E. To anybody who doesn't like that guy, come on. Come on. Cut him some slack. All right, well, I've cracked my one of 2 beers open tonight. This one's a 8.5. Hazy double IPA. The devil. I'm getting the devil in me. How you like that shit? Eh? Why isn't this working? There it is. All right, well, okay. So, listen. We're going back to an older format. Half on YouTube, the other half somewhere where we don't have to worry about being banned. Scott Sarah says, I remember the joke that came out shortly after this happened. What were Christy McAuliffe last words? What does this button do? Hacka hacka. Before I actually sign off, I'll just read a little bit more of the chat. Hold on now. Triple Crown wants to know how long it takes for me to choose your videos for the night. Well, how it usually works, Triple Crown? How it usually works, I would pretty much add a video a day during the week. It's kind of how I usually would do it. It was a little bit of a stutter this past week because I had to find all the channels I used to follow. So for everything I found today, I mean, I really just scrolled Twitter for like an hour, and then whatever subscriptions I was on YouTube that uploaded, I pulled those up. So I don't know, it could range. I could do a nice slow pace and do it all week, or if I do it in one day, I don't know, 3 hours. Something like that. Depending on if I watch every video, which usually I don't. I'll touch on it. So let's think of the positives and how we're doing the show from now on. Positive. Well, I can only really think of one at the moment. I'm sure others will come to me later on, but movie nights. We can go back to doing movie nights. I don't have to pre-screen them on YouTube to make sure YouTube's going to allow me to play them, so that's a big plus. Because a lot of the B movies, believe it or not, I can't play them on YouTube, but Rumble, from what I gather, pretty easy to get away with some stuff over there. So I think that's a big, big positive. another positive is we have a home base, you know? We got a home base where I can upload all my content. And I'll shortly be getting back to doing some heavy video editing. And I'm looking forward to growing this Rumble channel. So get used to it over here. I will too. I will too. I've already been working on that. Well, I think that was a good start. It was a good start. So, like I said, YouTubers, I'll put the link again into the chat over there just so you know where to go. If you haven't made an account yet on Rumble, please do so and join us, because that's where the fun will be had from here on out. People on Rumble, hang tight, I guess. I'll be up soon. As soon as you start seeing a Duran Duran music video, that means we are officially Rumble exclusive. So hang tight. Hopefully I see you YouTubers over there.